what it's like to be the last doctor in a war zone. The hospital is quiet this morning. That's the first thing you notice. Not peaceful quiet, long quiet. The kind that settles over a place when too many people have already left. The kind that has a weight to it. The kind you feel in your chest before you understand it with your mind. You arrived 6 weeks ago with a team of 11. 2 surgeons, 4 nurses, an anesthesiologist, a logistics coordinator, and 3 support staff. You came because the organization asked you to, because you'd done 2 deployments before, because you told yourself you knew what you were walking into.
You didn't. By week 2, the airstrikes had moved closer. The windows on the east side of the building rattled at night. You started sleeping in your clothes. By week 3, the organization pulled non-essential staff. By week 4, the anesthesiologist was evacuated after shrapnel caught him in the shoulder during a supply run. Wrong place, wrong moment. The kind of thing that happens here with a randomness that never stops feeling personal. By week 5, the other surgeon, your colleague, your friend, the man who'd been in places like this 4 times before you, sat across from you at the table in what used to be the hospital cafeteria and told you the evacuation window was in 3 hours. He asked if you were coming.
You looked at the ward. 41 patients, some stable, some not. A 14-year-old boy with a leg wound that would go septic within 48 hours without proper monitoring. A woman in her 3rd trimester who hadn't spoken in 2 days. An old man who had survived 4 surgeries in the last 3 weeks and was finally, slowly, starting to eat again. You told him to go. He did. And now it's morning, and the hospital is quiet, and you are the only doctor left inside it.
You start rounds at 6. The ward is a single long room that used to be a gymnasium. The floor is concrete. The beds are cots, most of them. The equipment is a collection of whatever could be sourced, borrowed, and carried in under conditions that made shipping anything here a small miracle. You have 4 nurses, local staff, none of whom have left because they have nowhere else to go. Their names are Amara, Yusuf, Dina, and a teenager everyone calls Sammy, who told you he was 19, when you both know he isn't. They are the reason anything functions. They are the reason people are still alive. You check the boy's leg first. The wound is clean. For now.
You have enough antibiotics for 6 more days. You write that down. You write everything down. Because when your mind starts to fray at the edges, and it will, you know it will, the notebook is the thing that keeps you tethered to procedure, to logic, to the version of yourself that went to medical school and learned how to solve problems instead of just surviving them. By 8 in the morning, 3 new patients arrive. A man with burns across his back and shoulders, the skin gone in patches, raw and weeping in a way that tells you the infection risk is already high. A child, maybe 5 years old, unconscious, head wound, pupils unequal. And a woman holding her own forearm together with her hands, the bone visible, her face completely calm, in the way that faces go calm when the body has run out of room for panic. You triage in 30 seconds. The child first. You'll think about that choice for the rest of your life. But that comes later. The child has a traumatic brain injury. You have no CT scanner. You have no neurosurgeon. You have a pen light, your hands, and 12 years of medical training that did not include a module on what to do when you are the only person available and the equipment you need doesn't exist. You do what you can. You monitor, you manage the pressure as best you can, you watch. You talk to him, even though he can't hear you. Doctors aren't supposed to do that. You do it anyway. He doesn't make it to noon. You don't stop moving. You can't. The woman with the forearm fracture is next. You set the bone with materials that are not what you would use in a real hospital, in a real operating room, in a world where supply chains exist and someone restocks the shelves. You use what you have. You always use what you have. That becomes the operating principle of everything. Not best practice? What's available? What will hold? What will buy another day? By afternoon, the power is gone again.
This is not new. The generator runs 6 hours a day now. You do your procedures in the morning when the light is on. In the afternoon, you work by whatever comes through the windows. In the evening, Sami holds a flashlight, and you do not think about what happens when the batteries run out.
Day 9 without consistent power. Day 12 without surgical anesthesia. You have ketamine. Not enough, but some. You have lidocaine. You have ingenuity born out of desperation, which is a kind of resource too, though it costs more than the others. It costs you something every time you reach for it, and there is no way to restock it, and no way to measure how much you have left. The days stop having names around week 7. You know it's Tuesday because Amara tracks it on a calendar she keeps folded in her scrub pocket. You know it's sometime in the afternoon because the light comes through the west window at a low angle. Beyond that, time has become something that happens to other people. People with schedules, people with phones that work, people who ate breakfast this morning and will eat dinner tonight and will sleep in a bed that doesn't have a view of a supply cabinet you have memorized down to the last unit.
You eat once a day. You sleep in 4-hour windows on a cot behind the nursing station. You dream about your kitchen at home, the specific sound the refrigerator makes, the way the morning light hits the counter. Small things, ordinary things. You didn't know you had memorized them. Turns out your brain was paying attention even when you weren't. Turns out the mind holds on to the small, ordinary things, the way a hand holds on to something in the dark. Then comes the morning that changes something in you permanently.
A soldier is brought in. He's young, younger than you expected, younger than seems fair, younger than Sami. He's been shot twice, once in the abdomen, once in the thigh. His uniform tells you everything you need to know about which side he's on. It's not your side. It's not the side of the people in the beds around him. It's the side that has been sending the airstrikes, the side responsible for the burns on the man in bed 7, the side responsible for the boy who didn't make it to noon.
Amara looks at you. Yusuf looks at you. The soldier looks at the ceiling. He's conscious. He knows where he is. He knows what you're looking at when you look at his uniform. He doesn't ask for anything. He doesn't speak. He just breathes, shallow and fast, the way people breathe when they're doing the math on whether they're going to survive the next hour.
When you're finished, Yusuf hands you a cloth to wipe your hands. He doesn't say anything. He doesn't have to. You both understand that this is the job, not the heroic version of the job that people imagine when they picture doctors in war zones. The real version. The one where you don't get to choose who needs you. The one where the oath you took turns out to mean exactly what it said. A week later, you lose Dina.
You put on your gloves. You work on him for 2 hours. The abdominal wound is bad. Bowel involvement, significant blood loss, the kind of case that would be a serious surgery in a fully equipped hospital. Here, it is an act of improvisation so complete, it barely resembles medicine as you were taught to practice it. But you close him. You stabilize him. You do what you were trained to do, which is keep the person on the table alive, regardless of what they did to get there, regardless of what they'll do when they leave.
She isn't killed. She leaves. Her sister got word to her somehow. Her family has found a route out. There's a window. It's now or it's never. She comes to you before dawn. She's already packed. She tells you she's sorry. You tell her not. You mean it. You would leave too if you had somewhere to go. You would leave too if the patients in the ward weren't the somewhere you had to be. And then there are 3 nurses, and you, and 38 patients, and supplies that are running out in a specific order you have memorized because you have gone over the inventory so many times it has become a kind of prayer. Antibiotics first, then ketamine, then the wound dressings, then the IV fluids.
You know exactly what runs out and when, and what it will mean for each person in each bed when it does. You make plans you don't tell anyone about. Contingencies for contingencies. You become very good at planning for things you hope will never happen and have to be ready for anyway.
You start rationing things you were taught never to ration. There is a night, you won't write this one in the notebook, where you sit on the floor behind the nursing station and you put your back against the wall and you think about the evacuation window your colleague mentioned. 3 hours, he'd said. You thought about it then. You think about it now. The version of you that could have been on that transport, sleeping in a real bed, eating a meal that didn't come from a box, calling your family, hearing their voices instead of remembering what they sound like. You sit there for 11 minutes. You know because you watch the clock on the wall above the supply cabinet. Then you get up. Someone's vitals need checking. You get up because that's the thing nobody tells you about this kind of situation. It's not courage that keeps you here. Courage is a decision you make once. This is something else. This is just the next task, and the next one, and the one after that. You stay because the alternative is unthinkable, and the only way to keep it unthinkable is to not think and just move.
The evacuation comes on a Thursday. Amara tells you it's Thursday. A convoy gets through. International staff. They have room for patients, for the nurses, for you. They give you 40 minutes to prepare. You move fast. You triage for transport. You decide who goes first, who can wait, who is too unstable to move and will have to stay with whatever minimal monitoring you can leave behind. You make those decisions in 40 minutes. You will make them again and again in your memory for years. You will wake up at 3 in the morning and see the faces of the ones you had to leave lower on the list, and you will run the triage again, and you will come to the same conclusion every time. And that will not make it easier.
The soldier you operated on, the one in the uniform, is stable enough to move. You put him on the convoy. You are the last one out. You stand at the door of the gymnasium for a moment before you leave. The cots are empty now. The floor is still stained in the places you couldn't clean. The window on the west side has been cracked since week 3, and you never found tape wide enough to cover it properly. The calendar in Amara's pocket is gone with her, but you can see the nail on the wall where it used to hang. You close the door.
On the convoy, someone hands you a bottle of water and asks how you're holding up. You say, fine. The word comes out clean and automatic, like a reflex, like something you practiced without knowing you were practicing it. Like a lot of things you learned here that you didn't know you were learning at the time. You look out the window as the hospital disappears behind you.
You are not the same person who walked through that door 6 weeks ago. You know that the way you know the antibiotics ran out on a Wednesday, the way you know the boy's pupils were unequal, the way you know exactly how many minutes you sat on that floor before you stood back up.
You're not the same person who walked through that door 6
minutes.
weeks ago.
You got up
11
in
minutes.
11 minutes.
You got up in 11 minutes.
You hope that
You think it
means
probably
something.
does.
You think it probably does.